right, I'm here with a boxing historian. Is that fair to describe you as a boxing historian?
Well, I describe boxing historian as an old guy with a good memory, so I guess I qualify under those circumstances. I've been around enough.
All right, Don Majeski. Thank you so much for giving me the honor of interviewing you. I really appreciate you giving me your time.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
All right, so I want to start off first with how'd you get into boxing? Well, what brought you to the sport of boxing?
This is a much told tale. I was, as a kid, had no interest in sports, no interest in boxing. I wanted to be a zoologist. I'll make this as brief as possible. And then I don't know how I got the bug. There was a television show for children in New York called Wonderama, and it was hosted by Sonny Fox. He was a local MC for children's shows, and then he did other things.
Okay.
And one night there was a show on about Joe Louis, and Sonny Fox was the director of the show, and the moderator. And all of a sudden, I said, I thought this was a children's show at night, but it wasn't. It was Joe Louis, Max Schmeling, Jack Sharkey, a number of, and Joe Walcott, the top fighters he had boxed. And I watched that. And then within a few months, there was I went to the movies and I saw, the newsreels in those days, the Liston-Patterson fight. So it piqued my interest. And then I remember Clay at that time and Liston. I listened to it in the radio in my mother's bedroom. And then just started getting interested in boxing. And then I sort of segued into it. And I met a couple of guys who did programs. They write them and sell them at Madison Square Garden. And we hooked up a guy named Malcolm Flash Gordon and Johnny Bosdahl, named Johnny Boz. He became an agent, and Jack Obermeyer became a writer of all sorts of boxing magazines and contributor. And we hit it off. We'd sell the program. We'd write in the program. I was a teenager. I was 16, 17, still in high school. Then I got a job at Boxing Illustrated through Gil Clancy and Bert Sugar.
How'd you meet Gil Clancy?
Well, we were like gym rats, We were all boxing enthusiasts. As I said, we were read all the magazines, read all the thing. There wasn't any internet in those days, and so we were like-minded. And my friend Johnny Boz, who was from Bay Ridge, he was a fight fan before I was. I started when I was about 16. He probably started when he was 12. And he would go all to they would take me to the gym. So we went to Telstar Gym, which was on 28th Street and 7th Avenue. Then we go up to Gleason's, which was then in the Bronx at 149th Street and 3rd Avenue.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. The funny thing about Gleason's is the Gleason now, Gleason was never in that gym, and Gleason wasn't named Gleason. His name was Gagliardi. So there was no Gleason that ever set foot in the Gleason's gym.
So how did they get the name Gleason's?
Well, Bobby was a fighter. He was born about 1898, and when he turned pro, it was more advantageous to be Irish. So he changed his name from Gallardi to Gleason, his fighting name, and he opened up the gym, and it became Gleason's Gym, and it became famous with Jake LaMotta and later Doug Jones. He managed the featherweight champ Phil Terranova, who trained there. All the fighters from the Bronx, and there were a lot of them, would work out up at Gleason's Gym before they would go to, let's say, Stillman's or something like that.
Wow, this is I didn't know that about Gleason's. I know Gleason's was in Manhattan at one point, and then it went to Brooklyn. But I didn't know it went from the Bronx to Manhattan to Brooklyn.
Yes, it started at 149th Street, called it the Hub in Bronx, 149th and 3rd Avenue. You go up these stairs, to his gym. It was very active in those days. They had a lot of arenas in the Bronx, too, Starlight Park, so you could stay right in the borough and fight out of there.
Wow.
And LaMotta trained there for a while. When they got bigger, they would go to Stillman's because of the proximity to Madison Square Garden. But yeah, and so it was never Gleason's. It was always Gallardi, but it was named Gleason. And when he moved down, they moved down to the Garden off of 31st Street. A guy named Ira Becker took it over.
Yeah, see, that I knew.
Yes.
That I knew. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's so interesting.